Hello, and welcome to Isn't It Obvious? I'm your host for today's episode, Micah. I'm joined as always by Phil and Sera.
Hi.
Isn't it obvious that in lieu of governmental negotiations and summits and G20 and all of that, we should really set international policies based on gold medal winnings at the Olympics?
Oh shit. So
Why?
like the moderator is the person who has the most gold winning
Please
wow.
explain your logic.
Because it will force countries to invest more in the athletic capabilities and competitive nature of their people as opposed to increasing their militaries. Because if international policy is dictated based on athletic events.
Nope, I don't like it.
And a wide gamut of athletic events.
I don't like it. It'll just actually inspire more cheating. Probably. They aren't going to spend that much. And you know what? Another thing.
Who says cheating is outlawed?
Different countries are going to have more resources to put towards their sourcing of athletes from their country, right?
And that's why every country, every one of their athletes comes with a directive that if they get gold, that's the directive that's being put forward by their country. So it's not even guaranteed. But it gives a chance for, small countries like Finland in the winter to actually get things across because they're very good at Norwegian drive-bys. Or in the summer, a lot of African nations would win in marathon type events.
Well, if we're going to go like racist here.
No, they do.
No, I know, no.
But also, like,
if we're
Usain Bolt, imagine what Jamaica would do if because of all the medals Usain Bolt won, they got to direct international policy.
I feel like that's a fucking horrible idea, having one country dictate all that
No,
much power.
just one aspect of international policy. That's there for 4 years.
And no, I still think this is a terrible fucking idea. But like, if we're gonna go like the racist route here,
it's not racist.
No, but if we're gonna go the racist route here, sorry.
How is it racist?
Some countries just have a better standard of living, so their people are on average bigger. Because they, like, for example, America has a lot of big fat people who have just their structure, their bone structures, I don't know, all the fucking proteins and whatever weird shit we're fed. Like, I feel like we're just on average bigger than some other countries out there, like Japan. Sorry, I'm just going to use that as an example because I've actually been there. And I wouldn't say it's like a huge difference, but I definitely felt, on average, much larger over there. I could hip check just about anyone and be like. So
that's why Japan never does well in hockey.
And that's what I'm saying is like it doesn't really work on an athletic stage if we're talking physical capabilities because there's like an average, and this is the same thing with. Oh God, are we going to go into female versus male versus trans women and trans men in sports? And do we want to devolve into that too? Because
that's not a de-evolution. I feel that is an evolution in the conversation.
I do too.
Okay.
So you could have, I think, male, female, transgender, and then you could have any combination of those.
So I think, and I don't know if this would work. Mike and I have had a briefish conversation at work. About this topic because
which rarely ever happens. We actually don't talk that much outside of Philosophy Fridays.
That's not true.
I'm just surprised.
And I honestly
you guys talk outside of podcast night.
I mean, usually it's Sera telling me to shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So it's the same.
This is true.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'll preface.
I'm actually nicer.
I know.
So you got to listen to the Sera and Micah podcast on Thursdays to hear their conversations and see if Micah is actually nicer.
No.
Okay.
I never go at work.
Oh my God, I hate you so much. That's true. You don't because you at least have it. There is a line that you have.
So you guys can talk about transgender sports and policy, but not.
So it was on the news about a gal who was competing.
Swimmer.
Yeah, the swimmer who was. This is very recent.
Penn?
Yes, Penn State?
I
don't know. Or it was high school. Was it high school?
I thought it was collegiate.
I have no idea. And like, to be honest, I don't really care personally. I don't have any like stakes in this. And I also should preface this as I'm speaking from probably a lot of ignorance here. So sorry if I say anything stupid. just know that I'm trying to come from an understanding place. But we were talking about how we would divide sports because there is a clear advantage of a trans woman just in the competition as competing in a woman's league. There is an advantage physically. We are a dimorphic species. So my thought was, if you wanted to kind of level the playing field, do it kind of like wrestling classes do, where there's like a weight class, and you could just forget gender in general, or biological sex or whatever. You can forget that, and just do it by like body mass and muscular ratio to body mass or whatever. Like, I know there's like a body mass index, but I think it would have to be a little more specific than that.
Also, isn't BMI?
It's weight and
garbage?
height. It is, and it's weight and height, which I think it needs to also be like for like if you're dividing into competition levels, like for class levels, I guess. You would have to do it also with like what's the fat to muscle ratio, like, because women generally will have, I don't know, I think it's like 30% on average fat ratio.
Yeah.
And I think men is like 18 to 20 or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, but so I'm thinking like if you wanted to try and level the playing field, do it less.
I'm above average at something.
USA.
But anyway, you would have to qualify for the weight, muscle, fat, whatever average for that class level to play in a specific league, which unfortunately would probably mean that the very I don't know, top of the top, cream of the crop, whatever, would be a lot of men. But if a woman could qualify, she can certainly qualify. So if a trans woman wants to compete in that league, she fucking can. If a woman who was born a woman wants to compete in that league and she qualifies with that body mass ratio for somehow she was just blessed with like that kind of...
Yeah, certainly women lack the aptitude of training for such a thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is if they can...
Physical excellence.
I mean, no, but I mean, like, if they did want to become in that league and they dedicated their entire fucking life to training to meet that goal and they made it, fuck yeah, go ahead. They can compete in that.
So, for a trans woman who does sports, they seem to be which is really weird, because why do Republicans really hate the idea of trans women in sports? Like, this is the thing that
they hate trans women in sports.
And why are you saying
they hate transgendered people?
It's not just Republicans either. I gotta walk you back there. It's a lot of people, a lot of terrible people.
Well, as a Republican and part of the terrible people camp, some would say deplorable, but
That's a throwback.
I know that there were
deportable.
I don't think that's the same thing, but okay.
I don't know. We should just let Texas go independent and just send every asshole there, and see how much they like.
They're already starting to do that, like, naturally, though.
Well, that's just because of their tax break. But if you take them off the U.S. dollar and they have to, I don't know, use Texas bucks with 2 X's or something.
They're going to have a new flag.
Oh, but if they have 2 X's... Well, it doesn't matter. Never mind.
Dos Equis.
Not a bad beer.
And they're going to say that's part of their Mexican heritage.
Sure they are.
It's okay with me.
I don't know where this conversation
No, I was going to say,
say
there were some southern states, I believe, that were trying to ban transgendered women. Oh, okay. I guess
Utah did it
south, though.
For one transgendered athlete. And 4 of them, 4 transgendered athletes were like working through it, and 1 actually did it competitively. And that's why the Republican governor vetoed it.
It's kind of crazy that this is the
How
hill.
much bet it's about money?
It's like about money.
Well,
how's it about money for high school sports?
It's like sending a message.
Potentially.
I don't know.
Potentially, yeah. The competition, like, it doesn't really matter in high school except for the fact if you place really well, you can get scholarships to college, which is money.
But then there's no guarantee that whatever said college, you're not going to go to Utah State or Brigham Young University as a transgendered student.
Probably not, no. But you can still go elsewhere in the country that would accept you.
Yeah, and that's fine.
And
but that's not
compete
taking
there.
away from someone else. Because that person's going to bring you in.
I mean, I don't know that it's taking away from someone else.
Because it's not.
But
it's cultural war bullshit.
I mean, it is.
Yeah,
but it like. It's I kind of see where it's not really taking away because like they're. Yeah, so this is really hard to.
So Sarah's speaking as like the deplorable Republican camp.
I'm speaking. Well, I guess I'm speaking from my deplorable uncle's camp here because
Okay.
we had talked about this, and he made this point that, you know, he's speaking as a parent of a daughter who was in softball or something or some athletic thing. My cousin, and like he was basically, and he's wrong. But kind of, I understand where he's coming from. You know, he's like, well, if there was a trans woman on my daughter's team and they just played her and my daughter had to sit on the bench because there wasn't...
Yeah, there's
you know,
only so many
because
spots.
because she's just athletically more gifted or whatever, like, he would be upset. And I think that's kind of, on the one hand, bullshit. Because... who fucking cares?
And on the other hand, it's still bullshit.
But I also understand, like, it is sort of taking away. In a sense, it is.
No, it's like if anyone else were to replace his daughter in that team. And he wouldn't be upset because, God, I guess just another chick who happens to be better.
Well,
the whole point of transgender is that that's what they're more comfortable with. The physical attributes are irrelevant, especially if they're on estrogen, because that will change their
that's
body
true,
chemistry.
but it takes time to do that.
It does.
And
there's like,
but I'm
also,
sorry,
like,
but you're still working from that initial physicality.
But then you're also taking high school sports way too fucking seriously.
I agree there, except some kids and their parents push their kids.
Yes, and those are bad parents.
Yeah, he is a terrible parent. Don't tell him I said that. Anyway.
I'll suggest this podcast one.
Yeah, I should. Definitely not. You know, so like, parents like that, though, will push their kids to go into these sports to compete.
You're going to succeed where I failed, whether you like it or not.
Because,
softball.
Yeah, well, because they want to, part one, live vicariously through their child. Part two, because they want their child to get a scholarship so they can go to college and they don't have to pay as much money to send their kids.
Okay, that's actually reasonable.
Like,
no, it's not, because the current state of college is bullshit.
Agreed on that.
And the money, regardless whether you get it via scholarship or loans, is effluent.
But that's what I'm saying.
Because you
is
don't get what it's fucking worth.
It's an onion layer of bullshit. Like, there's no way you can attack it. Like, everything kind of sucks.
So it's not really about letting a woman compete on a team that, you know, and she has a distinct advantage. It's really not completely about that. It's just it's all about money. See, I'm saying it's still about fucking money.
No, it's not. Your uncle doesn't care financially, even if he cares about the scholarship.
Okay, you're right. It's more of a point of pride because he wants to see his daughter play.
I also think it's just such a small chance of this kind of okay, again, ignorant person here, but like, this is one argument where in the culture war Republicans believe they have a point, and so they're just really hammering.
They don't have a point. It's a small, marginalized percentage of the population that they're focusing all their rage on.
Right.
Because it's a complex issue that nobody wants to talk about it. Because, oh my god, genitalia is icky.
Or they just don't want to offend anybody because they're going to speak like me from a place of ignorance who has no fucking idea what I'm talking about, and then I'm going to get jumped on for saying something stupid. So I kind of understand why some people don't want to talk about it.
You've never referred to them as trannies, so you're light years ahead of many other people.
And I'm also like trying pretty hard to not be too offensive. And I hope that comes across, so apologies again if I say something stupid.
This is all under the supposition that women's sports are entertaining in any aspect, so...
Rude.
Oh boy. The devil horns are out.
Oh my god.
He's just dangling the cheese. So take the bait, motherfucker.
This is also under the assumption that any sport, period, is entertaining.
I don't know. I watched the hockey game last night. That was very entertaining.
Soccer's pretty fun. I do like soccer. And rugby's alright.
Yes, let's watch a game for 3 hours that ends in 0-0, and everyone's happy about that. That's a sport.
See,
hey, stop talking about chess.
Micah, I think you were mentioning something about competition and how we should not be as concerned with that because that's going to be the downfall of humanity.
But if you're going to have a competition...
No, it doesn't have. It doesn't matter.
Tie
is fine.
In regulation,
it's
not good.
It's fine.
No, it's not.
It's fine. We got to see our players play. They played hard. They were
did you see that? He ran up the field. Did you see that? When the other team had the ball, he ran back down the field.
How is it different than hockey?
Because hockey, there are more goals, and if it's a 0-0, it doesn't go to just a tie. It goes to an overtime. If nothing is scored in overtime, it goes to a shootout, which is exciting.
I feel like you're being unfair to soccer.
Also, soccer has plenty of
hilarious. Also called soccer. Okay, sorry.
Cricket can have one game last for 3 fucking days. That's too fucking long for a sports game.
No,
I will agree there.
No, you guys are too picky.
If you can score in a quantity of a century, it's the wrong game.
No, you guys are way too you guys.
A 6-hour tennis match? Fucking amazing. That is a show of endurance, skill, and talent to break
I do enjoy tennis, actually.
A single set tie.
I do enjoy tennis.
And then they go on to another set.
Okay.
That's bonkers to me. But that still has a winner.
Also, the scoring in tennis, just also bonkers.
Not really.
Yeah, the numbers don't...
they don't make
symbols
fucking
don't
any
make...
sense.
I don't know
Just
why
makes
I
no
love it.
fucking
Doesn't,
sense. Yeah.
What, 15, 30, 40?
45 advantage.
Is it 45 advantage? It's been way too long.
I don't know.
Right.
I barely
Here's
remember.
my-
I thought it was 15, 30, 40 win.
No, 'cause if there's a tie, you have advantage.
Wasn't there
Yeah. If it's 40 all,
40 all,
yeah, then you have 40 all advantage.
Advantage.
And then you win with 2 because you have
I
to
don't
have a
know.
decisive
The
victory.
only reason I
because
know-
someone who wins should win.
No, Mike...
If you're going to have a competition.
I like soccer.
I'm just going to interrupt here. Micah and Sarah, you guys are wrong. You guys are the type of people that go to a restaurant and you have the food that you want to eat at the menu and then you start complaining about all the other food on the menu and I'm like, you're not going to order it. Just don't worry.
I would
Just
never
get the
complain
food.
about. I would never complain about other food on the menu. I would only complain if I asked for something and then they tell me, "Oh, sorry, we're out of that."
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
That's
yeah.
what I wanted.
You're mad about supply and demand?
I'm really mad that I really wanted a Reuben last Tuesday and I didn't get a Reuben because they were out. And then I wanted a particular beer and they were also out of that beer and they replaced it with a different beer.
It was a very sad trivia night for Sarah.
We're living the end times, folks.
We won at trivia. She hasn't even mentioned that. Didn't get a Reuben, didn't get my beer.
Yeah.
Fuck the rest of the night.
Yep.
Kind of, you're looking forward to turn down.
It's fine though. I got mac and cheese instead, so it was okay.
But no, you guys are like the people that look at the menu and you're like, "Oh, all this other food is terrible." It's like, don't worry about it. Just get the food you want. If you want a high-scoring game, then watch basketball. If you want a game that no one wants
Spice
to
of
watch,
life, man.
watch golf.
That's why we have more than one
sport. I feel like cricket and
golf is there.
Golf is the fucking worst.
To be an over-the-counter sleep aid every Sunday.
Golf is the worst.
That's all golf is good for. Nobody actually watches it for the competition because you don't actually follow one person. You turn it on so you can fall asleep. And you can wake up and be like, "Oh, Mickelson's leading."
You know what's better?
Oh my god, Rose took the lead? Wow, that must have been a great second half that I have no idea about because I've never actually golfed at Augusta.
A bird feeder is better. That's what's better. It's better. It's
golf?
If you want to, if you want to fall asleep.
No, calm, dulcet tones with a slightly British accent is amazing.
Get a bird watcher guide, and then
coming up to the hole.
Get a recliner, get a bird feeder, and then put your recliner right in front of the window and just sit there and try to identify birds until you fall asleep. It's great.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
No, there's nothing exciting.
This is my fucking life. This is my life fucking goal when I retire because no one's gonna retire. Let's be honest.
No, it's a dream. Yes.
In my pipe dream.
In
In my pipe dream,
Costco.
where I'm a millionaire
Costco.
somehow and can afford to get a recliner and a house with a really big window and a bird feeder on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my goal. That's my dream.
You can aim a little higher.
No.
First of all, Micah,
also maybe with 20 cats.
For
only 20.
No,
for sports that you could fall asleep to. I mean, there's so many other options for that as well. NASCAR.
Golf is the best. No.
Formula
NASCAR's
1.
too loud.
No, it's like
Oh my god, look at that! See what Jimmy Johnson did? Did you do what Truex did? Oh my god, that is like horror!
You just put it on mute or
really bad
lower
for our
volume.
listeners.
Okay, well, either
This is why
way.
I'm the furthest away from the mic.
Yeah.
It doesn't help.
It doesn't matter. I can see the spikes here. You're very...
So mad.
All right, so the idea is that the people
I
who
assume
win
editor drops me.
lots of medals at the Olympics should have more say at the international level for politics.
No. Their gold medal win should be the policy that's enacted over
I
the next
hate
4
this
years.
idea.
Isn't that kind of what it is already?
I veto
No,
it.
but it's specifically about the games. Think of the
What policy
population,
are they
whatever it
awarding?
may be.
No.
Like what? Like
No. How does
climate
you're not
change?
even-
Is
yeah,
that a
like,
policy?
Yeah, sure.
Do they get a pick?
Save the whales?
Do they
No,
get
the country and the team organizing in their respective sports gets to pick. So, like, the curling,
That doesn't make any
USA
sense.
curling, and Canadian curling, and Norwegian curling, and Russian curling. Well, not Russia. 'cause they're
Okay,
banned.
so the
See?
event.
That's the point.
So the event gets to pick, not the country.
I mean, the country can have their influence.
No, but what I'm saying is like, okay, you've got.
But the final say ends up
event-
going down to that team.
Yeah, it goes to the team who wins.
The
it for
competitors, the actual competitors.
Yeah, not the country itself. The competitors.
The country has some say, but the competitors can...
I don't feel these. Some of these are children. Some of these are babies who
Yeah.
barely lived their life.
And
I don't
they get to
want them
decide
making
about the nuclear
policy.
triad system for the
Fucking why
American
not? It can't
policy.
be any worse than someone like Kissinger.
Fair. Or
Nixon,
I mean,
believe that's actually what they meant to say.
honestly, I'm thinking about
Sorry.
Greta.
That's my Kissinger example.
Greta Thunberg. She would be okay. I would be.
Yeah, imagine if she was great at the biathlon.
Just one small child.
Just skiing
Who I would
along,
allow
hitting targets, skiing
to
along,
make a
hitting other
policy.
targets, gets the gold, and just sits up on that podium. Gigantic diatribe about how coal industry has to be done away with. And
Yeah, I don't like this. You know what this is like? This is like asking beauty pageant holders like what their life goals are or whatever. Like, I want world peace, you know, that fucking meme or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's it's stupid to expect
Sarah,
someone who
what's your
is-
perfect day?
My perfect day is when
Did
everyone
I
is
just
happy.
not describe the recliner with the window and the bird?
No, you missed the reference. It's April 25th. Still a little chilly, but not too cold. You can just wear a light jacket.
Oh, is
No,
this
that's
Hitchhiker's Guide?
No.
No, what is this?
Miscongeniality.
No. I was
yeah,
going for
good
dry
movie.
wit or something, but no, I guess not. Just terrible. I don't know. I got nothing.
It's a good movie.
It's not that bad. The second one's awful.
Oh no, that's
I
the
don't-
First one's very good.
Yeah.
I don't know if I even watched it. I can't say I have.
Well,
Anyway.
they did not partake in one Hollywood trope, which was to give Sandra Bullock glasses, so you knew that she was ugly. Because
Oh yeah.
All right, I have a callback to a previous
Guys,
episode.
we all
that
are wearing glasses right now. God, we're ugly Hollywood stars.
I do really wish
until
So hot. Takes off glasses.
I do want to say
but Phil
that
keeps us on because we need to have one leveler.
I need
for
to
the
see
attractiveness.
people.
you
Why does okay? Well,
Look at this beautiful face. All right, this is my magnum.
I can only look at it without my glasses on.
Also, hold on. Boom, Clark.
Anyway, sorry, what were you saying? I don't even know what I was.
I'm gonna try to justify myself from a previous episode about like rankings of movies because I was like, oh yeah, didn't it do well on Rotten Tomatoes, like Miscongeniality? But then I was like, wait a minute, Rotten Tomatoes is terrible, and the reason why is because it was bought out by Fandango.
Yep.
So their whole fucking rating system is trash. So don't watch Miscongeniality for the Rotten Tomato score. Just watch it because it's an okay movie.
It's an interesting encapsulation.
Nope, encapsulation.
Encapsulation
Encapsulated.
Okay.
Did.
of like American identity
God.
in 2004.
Oh.
Sure. Okay.
It's
I thought it was before 9/11,
so I started
but
listening.
okay.
I started listening to a podcast. Might have mentioned this. That critiques Alex Jones. Basically, facts checks his episodes.
Oh yeah, knowledge fight.
Yep. Listener Uzbek, go listen to Knowledge Fight. It's very funny. But I went through their most recent ones. Then I went back to January 6th
Oh wow.
and the few episodes after that. Now I started over, and they started the podcast in like 2017 before Trump's inauguration.
Wow.
And it's super interesting to hear the critiques of insane Alex Jones, but also looking back through the Trump administration through the lens of Alex Jones being mocked by a couple Chicagoland comedians. It's very interesting. It's like its own political science.
Is it like a time capsule?
Kinda.
Yeah.
But also not really, 'cause it's all the same, because Alex Jones really hasn't changed all that much. He just lies compulsively about everything.
True.
This is why I don't really like conservative pundits or whatever you call them. You can't take them in good faith.
No, you can't.
So like
most Republicans, or I think hopefully future Justice Brown or Jackson, Jackson, whatever, Biden's nominee.
Brown.
Was it Brown?
Ketanji Brown, right?
That was Ketanji Brown Jackson. No.
Fuck, I don't know.
Whatever her name is. Sorry, with all due respect, Your Honor.
Let's hope we never
Your future
end up in
honor.
front of her. She will find
She's
this
currently
and
a
she
judge,
will.
so she's still an honor.
Oh, true.
I think she was elected to the D.C. Circuit Court almost unanimously. And now every Republican is trying to justify horribly that they're just saying no to the pick.
Yeah.
Because the court's gone so far to the right.
Even though she's like incredibly qualified.
She's the most qualified.
Just listening to her talk and the whatever.
Her responses were amazing.
Oh, they are. They're great. She's so... You can tell she knows what the fuck she's talking about. And she's just calm.
Hello, Justin. Do you think that young kids should be taught about this?
I hope that she gets
Senator
on the...
Cruz?
I hope she gets on the court, and I
I
hope...
do not know what you're talking about.
I hope some of those assholes are put in front of her to be judged someday for their fucking crimes
It's not
against
really how
women.
Supreme Court works, though.
I know. It's too bad.
I just really hope that Clarence Thomas goes away.
No, but the one thing I don't like about the Supreme Court system, like, it's like 9 people, and I know we had an episode before, it should be expanded, and I said, like, pack the court, it's an inflammatory
That should be 50.
word.
Every state should have a justice there.
I find it weird, like, that 9 was a number? Like, why don't you just have it as 1?
No, it started at, like, 4.
Right, like...
And they expanded it along the population, and they stopped it in, like, the 30s when they capped the
Okay, then
House
why
seats.
not, like, 1,000? Like, the number itself is so arbitrary.
No,
It's not totally arbitrary.
It is arbitrary, but the
That's why I
main
said
point
totally.
is that it's small.
Yes, it has to be
So it
small
can be
enough.
manipulated and controlled by those who actually have the levers of power.
But
it's
also,
the same thing with the House.
But it also not only that, but also so it isn't so unwieldy. Because I think it's very important to be able to like read the dissenting opinions, for example, in like those on top of the actual ruling.
But isn't the dissenting opinion usually composed by one judge of the dissenting side? Regardless?
It's
So
not-
even if you had 50 judges,
But
Yeah.
it
the
isn't-
dissenting side would still only have the one
which
dissenting.
wouldn't
Usually.
be representative of...
They all talk about it.
It wouldn't be representative, though, of 1,000 people.
Why not?
It's not meant to be.
No,
That's what I'm saying. 9, you can kind of make that less important, but you can't just shove off 100 people dissenting
No,
versus
they-
another.
No, they have a collective dissent.
and if they have like a
They all
different...
agree on the
Okay.
dissent. It
But
doesn't
not-
matter if it's
no,
3
they
people in
don't,
dissent
though.
or 30.
No, because there's
Well, it'll be 30,
there's
70.
reasons for dissent.
Yeah, and then they write the reasons... Okay, so my thought was,
Not all of those reasons are going to be the same.
first of all...
No, but all of those reasons are included in the dissent, regardless of who
No.
writes it.
There
They aren't.
should be
Not 1,000.
all, okay, even for 9, not all the time, right? They just pick a justice. Hey, you seem to be very vocal about this. But the other thing too is why the fuck is it 9 people versus 9,000? It should be over 9,000.
Get out!
No.
Get out of my house.
Yes,
The House should be over 9,000.
well that too.
Because now a House representative represents like 700,000 people.
Well,
as
that-
opposed to the constitutional point of one person is supposed to represent 50,000.
Okay.
Because that's still ridiculous, but that's somewhat more manageable.
So I'm gonna get back to the point of the dissent, and that literally means nothing. It doesn't matter. It's all a joke. It's like whose line is it anyway? I mean...
Not entirely.
No, their points matter because
Yeah.
it sets
no,
precedent. Yes, it does.
It does.
Yeah.
A lot of Clarence Thomas dissenting opinions from the early 90s on have laid a lot of the groundwork for
exactly.
bolstering Second Amendment, making that incredibly difficult to put any caps on what type of guns people can control, on
They wouldn't have...
tearing down Roe v. Wade. And even though it passed, they have... you can look at some dissenting opinions about taking away same-sex marriage.
All these things about God, it's a floating number almost. The reason why these people argue in their words and shit like this is because there's no real concrete way you can anchor their arguments. It's all just bullshit. Like the whole Roe versus Wade, and the other one was the other test that they make. They have to say viability. And the argument is like, well, okay, show me the Constitution. It's all of its glorious 4 pages. And show me Control F on the word viability. Right? They just make up all these fancy, stupid-ass words, try to make a compelling argument based off it, and they try not to backtrack too much because it makes them look like, as a whole organization, that they're just bullshitters. But everyone knows that there's bullshitting, right? Like,
because laws are kind of bullshit.
Yep.
But you still need a single authority that can rule on stuff that other courts could not rule on specifically.
And this is where I'm thinking 9 is so stupid. Like, 9 to me is almost as bad as 3. It's almost as bad as 1. Yeah, there's a big difference between 9 and 1.
I don't know what the sweet spot number is.
50. 1 from each fucking state.
No, it should be...
I think that's maybe too many. I think 50 might be too many. Honestly.
Well, first, I think the problem is that there should be way more people in the House. And states should not have a population of like 600,000 for North Dakota and like millions of people in just LA alone, right? Like, what the hell is this shit? The states need to either be broken down into more manageable sections of how to govern their own So
then the Senate gets to be bigger because each state has 2 representatives guaranteed regardless of population?
Well, first of all, California should be split into like 5 fucking states, right?
No, it shouldn't.
Oh, yes. It's way too big of a state.
No, it's not.
California? It's like... It's
Texas. Now.
Texas also should be too.
I don't fucking care. Doesn't really matter.
Well, Vermont, who no one even believes is a state, and Delaware, I'm not even sure it is a state. It has like maybe 50,000 people and a cow, and they get 2 senators.
I think they have a cow.
Well, they share the cow and the joint custody of the cow. Don't be so insensitive, Micah.
Well, the bicameral system itself was a means of giving states with high slave populations more control because they then counted their slave populations as part of their population, even though they couldn't vote.
Well, as a wage slave, not to make it sensitive to people who are actually slaves, it doesn't make sense that these states have huge fucking mega cities that are more than like multitudes of states combined. They should be breaking them up so that there would be more representation for the section that they live in. I'm sure Northern California and Southern California people hate each other.
But that's why the
just
House
like Americans ought to.
Oh yeah, San Francisco really hates LA.
I mean, everyone hates LA and San Francisco, so I can sympathize with both arguments.
Yeah, but that's why they like each other. It's them against the world.
It is.
The world's 8th biggest economy.
Even the
fuckers.
Fuck
just our
are
left
we
coast.
Talking about? Fuck you guys.
Senate should be they should break them up so there's more senators, and they should also blow up the House, and there shouldn't be 9 fucking people.
They tried that on the 6th. That didn't work.
I was going to say, anyway, we should have one dictator and...
And I will take that mantle. Thank you for the support, Sarah.
No.
Yes.
No.
If I had a year, this country would be so much better. I would take... You could treat me like Mussolini.
Nope.
Find a tree, and the entire country could hang me after I have 1 year of being a dictator.
No.
At least insulin would be $35.
Insulin would be fucking free.
There you go.
If you have diabetes, you just get insulin. It's now owned by the government. And the government produces insulin for anyone who fucking needs it. Because it's fucking insulin!
For the listeners, the House just passed the insulin capped price for $35, and every Republican, I believe, voted against it.
Because they're pieces of shit.
And it will never go through the Senate, because you need at least 60 senators to go past the filibuster, and we only have 49 and a half.
Why the filibuster should be at least in person. If you want to try and fucking filibuster it, you Strom Thurmond that shit, and you are up there until you defecate yourself by talking for 24 hours.
Or
18 minutes.
maybe each state should just get athletes and they all perform, and whoever that state athlete wins just gets to make the rules for the year.
Imagine if California was able to do that policy because of the population.
Oh shit! Okay,
should
I
just-
regret
you know
this.
what?
Everything. This is all terrible.
We should just have MMA fighters duke it out, and last one standing gets to decide whether the bill passes or not.
So it's just Florida.
No.
Florida's going to win every belt.
But Royal Rumble style. 2 states start in the ring, and then every 3 minutes a new state comes in.
So they just have to last long enough.
Yep. But they can work together. Vermont and Delaware can team up against New York and chuck them out of the ring. So
Okay.
New York doesn't get a vote.
I don't want to sound sexist, but we're talking about the real congressmen and women and the senators. Like, not like a champion. Like, it's actually the people
Oh my
elected.
god.
You know what?
C-SPAN would just be pay-per-view.
Also,
Oh my
you know
God.
what? Not only would that work, it would also get rid of the old people
It would.
in government.
Well,
Why am I being persecuted? You know why, Ted.
My hip.
Well, I just want to say that.
Well, bam.
so, all right. We're very clear that this is a very good idea.
You just can't kill him. He's like a fucking cockroach.
No, it's
kidding
anytime
him.
Batman fights against Clayface. Like, every punch is just like,
Oh, so you punch him, you try to punch him in the solar plex, and you find out he actually is a turtle,
Yep.
and you break your hand.
Oh my god! Well, that's why I always wear button-ups. Just ripped shell.
He's a fucking...
You thought Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was a game. Nope, it's based on beer.
Well, then he would.
And then Ted Cruz comes out, I'm Splinter.
Oh, God, I fucking hate him so much.
Well, thanks, Mom.
Oh my god, I don't think I've laughed that hard in a long time. Everything hurts now. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom!